Blogging could be your next big thing. But if you're looking around the web trying to start a blog, chances are you're seeing blogs that are already up and running. Maybe your friend even runs an annoying travel blog from Europe that you have to look at, and you're probably feeling frustrated like, oh, why can't I just build a blog already? Hey, what's up guys? I'm Greg, and in this video, we're going to show you how to make a blog that ranks #1 in Google, gets you hundreds of comments from actual fans, and can even make you a healthy living every month. And the funny thing is, we're going to do this using a simple blogging structure that people have been building blogs with our help, for 5, almost 10 years now, using things like an image slider, blog posts on the homepage, a sidebar, email subscriptions, and a logo. And by the end, you're going to wish you were able to start a blog 10 years ago so you get all that amazing stuff going already. How do we know how to do it? Well, we've been watching people make blogs for years. We've written for the top blogs on the web, which I'll show you, and we just surpassed $1 million in affiliate marketing blog earnings, which I never thought would be possible eating a Subway sandwich from a couch in New York City. In any case, I'm so happy you're here getting started. The future of blogging has never looked cooler and brighter, and if you're willing to just spend an hour of your time sitting down here with me and listening, we can get your blog up and running too. And yes, it can be your cat's one shot at fame. So if you're ready to go, I'm ready. Let's jump into my computer and check out what we're gonna make. Come on, let's do it. So here's the blog we're gonna make together throughout the course of the next several sections in this tutorial. And as you can see, it turned out really, really cool. I'm so excited about that email subscription form in the side from Aweber Email Marketing. I'm so excited about our Facebook box so people can like your page and interact with your Facebook post right from your blog. They don't even have to leave it. Super excited about these advertisements, and I'll be even more excited when they fill in with Google Ads, which is going to happen. They're just reviewing our site right now, and I show you how to get submitted the right way to Google Adsense and make sure you get in the front of the line for submission so you can earn some money when people click your blog or view it. So you can make custom ads, you can make a button. This we actually do from custom code too. So anyways, I could go on and on. I'm really a blog nerd. We're going to make a logo, we're going to make the social icons. This is another ad that's going to populate. And when the ads are ready, it's going to look like the ads you see on my 2 main blogs, Dear Blogger and Honest College, which is its sister blog. So these blogs are written by guest writers that I've recruited over the years, and you have 3 ads here. So if you want 3 ads, you can do that. And it's my goal to give you all the skills to make everything you see on my blogs on your blog, basically. So you also get a couple pages. We're going to make our story. All right, so we have a cool story and get in touch. So you have a contact form on your blog. So people can write to you, or you can just make a custom email like yourself at yourblog.com. I used a ton of inspiration to make this blog. If you're wondering, the most active and reliable niches that are viable for you to start a blog for a living, those would be #1, travel. So I made sure to look at the points guy as I made this blog. This blog is obviously humongous. It's bigger than any blog I've made, although some of my posts might compete a little in terms of how well they've ranked. This blog uses the logo in the upper left, the search bar up here. They have ads everywhere, and we're going to try to emulate some of the things they've made, like, floating a credit card and then having the text and little buttons, stuff like that. This blog is obviously in the travel niche, and when you look at it, I hope you say, like, that's a blog where I can make a few things I see there, because I want to give you the tools to go ahead and bring these features to your own blog, whether it's these little buttons or the sidebar widgets or the email subscription form, which you're going to learn how to set up. I want you to have a taste of that on a smaller scale, because this blog obviously hired many developers over the years and paid them tens and tens of thousands of dollars. And we can't do that now, but we can do a little bit. So there's travel. I also get inspiration from SPI blog, which is the Smart Passive Income. That's by Pat Flynn. So this blog talks about how to make a living blogging. This niche is obviously popular because a lot of you guys want to make a living. And Pat focuses on things like how to sell products to your community, how to create a podcast, how to make ebooks. And lastly, another favorite blog I got inspiration from is called Pinch of Yum. They're Minnesota-based former teachers turned multimillionaire bloggers. They cover food, obviously, recipes for every season, and it's very Instagram friendly. So I want your blog to also be Instagram friendly and using the skills from Pinja Yum. Obviously, a lot of that's going to be up to you. Nothing in blogging is guaranteed, just like in life. But if you have the drive and you connect your passions to the world's greatest needs, you can do anything on your blog. Which brings me to my final point, which is creating a niche for your blog. And to do that, why don't we hop over to our notepad and learn the 5 steps to start a blog and start blogging with this video. Okay guys, let's talk about finding your niche in blogging. Let's talk about all the steps we need today to start a blog, and let's do this in one take. I just woke up and we have a mattress coming soon, so the day is going crazy. Actually, I've been at my desk for like 3 hours. It just feels like you just woke up, when you're doing like little things. Anyways, we're gonna do this in one take, and of course, I have my little niche checklist here on how to start a blog this year. We're going to run through all this as we always do, and I'll tell you all the steps you need, and perhaps most importantly, what each step costs. So I thought I'd put on an old Dear Traveler video on Palm Springs that we made in 2019, just for your entertainment. And I hope we can get through a lot of steps while we see some old travel footage when we thought we'd become travel bloggers. Go for theater mode there. And yeah, everyone needs a little bit of distraction as you take a class. So the first step is going to be to create a niche, guys. All right, creating a niche, the most important thing that no one ever told me is that you are the niche. Whatever you decide to blog about is the niche. And there's nothing wrong with just pulling your interests together at that sweet spot intersection of where your greatest passions meet the world's greatest needs, pulling your interests together right there and creating a topic around it. So it could be like all about dogs who want to be healthy and vegan, but are also from a certain breed and like running. You can pull in several different topics. Then you can talk about running and health and your life with that dog breed, etc., etc. So you don't need to be limited by the niches available. You don't need to feel like your ideas are being shot down. That's the last thing we want. And if you need help creating a niche, we have tons of people that have come through these tutorials successfully. Just post a comment below that you want help, and I'll get the Dear Blogger family on that comment, and I'll even help you individually. And if you really need help, then shoot me an email or give me a call. So this part should be fun. Okay. Yep, we're eating some Beyond Meat down there. So once you create a niche, which by the way is free, you're gonna wanna choose where to blog. Thankfully, being that you're already in this video, you'll know that you want to blog on WordPress. So you don't need to go through Blogger, and that's why I wore this shirt here. You might have been wondering, because I started a blog on Blogger way back in 2010, and it was tough. It was drag and drop, and the orange colors looked nice. I got to use a Google product, which was fun, kind of like using Google Plus was fun, or using the first version of Gmail was fun. But it was pretty clunky. I'm envious that you've chosen WordPress on where to blog, and proud if I played any role in helping you pick WordPress. And by WordPress, we mean WordPress.org. WordPress.com is fine, but they give you such a small, limited amount of blogging abilities. Like you can make a sidebar and you can make a homepage, but you can't really choose where your logo goes. And you can't really choose where the navigation menu goes. And you can't edit any code. And you can't post advertisements. So all those things you'll realize you're hitting roadblocks right away in WordPress.com. And that's why we choose WordPress.org to start a blog. WordPress.com is also more expensive. So it's like you get a free blog, and then to do these little things that you'd think would be available, you have to pay add-ons and you have to pay to remove certain paywalls. WordPress.org, we just pay one time for domain and hosting, which is step 3, and then you get access to all the blogging tools the pros use for free. So it's a much better route to use WordPress.org. On WordPress.org, you'll also find who uses WordPress. So let's look that up in Google. If we click images, there's so many graphs of who uses WordPress that pro bloggers and people like me that teach people how to start a blog have created. So some of the names you'll find are just really impressive. Microsoft, Google use WordPress.
This is the traditional list everyone's seen before. CNN, Katy Perry, everyone's favorite birthday song. Come on, of course. People use WordPress, Volkswagen, TechCrunch, and Jay-Z, UPS delivers our mail, Best Buy, all of them use WordPress to make a blog. And of course, they're using WordPress.org because they have full, awesome sites where they want to be able to post everything and, of course, post ads and make their business actually look complete. Now we can take you back to that video here. Hope you didn't miss out on too much. So we're going to choose where to blog, and that's WordPress.org, and that's for free. But if you have any doubts, let me know in the comments below. It was obviously a couple years before I found WordPress.org, and now I'd never leave. But I'm here to talk to you about any other platform you might want to. WordPress.org is just where all the other bloggers I network with and seemingly everyone we see on the web uses, so it pays to be on the same playing field as them to network and to learn how they're making certain things. Next, we're going to register a domain and hosting. The domain name and the hosting can both be registered at the same place. It wasn't always like this. I used to get my domain names at GoDaddy and my hosting at HostGator, and I pay like $15 for my domain name and I think it was $20 a month for my hosting. But now we can get our domain name for free. Domain is free at HostGator. And you can get your hosting down for about under $5 a month. So that's pretty cool. I'm also going to show you how to use a coupon called Big Bonus, which has been active at HostGator since the beginning of time. I've helped a lot of beginners use that coupon code and a lot of expert web designers too that just want to come back to blogging. And the more people that use it, the better the discount gets. So please feel free to use the coupon code. It will save you as much as you can at the moment, and can't wait to see what that amount is. Once you get your domain name and hosting, and congrats so much on getting that deal. I know in my case it was stressful spending money when I had none to start a blog. So I hope to make this all essentially almost free for you, with the domain name being free and the hosting being about the cost of a snack or a cup of coffee a month. Awesome. So once you do the domain and hosting, we can install WordPress, and that is the .org version to clarify. And we're going to do that onto your hosting from inside of your new HostGator hosting. We'll install WordPress.org using the Softaculous installer. We do it all without code, so you don't need to know anything about HTML, JavaScript, CSS, C++, Python, Ajax, syntax, none of that. All you need to know is WordPress is going to be a software that we install onto your hosting, just like you'd install Microsoft Word or Google Chrome onto your Mac or some new app like Zoom you want to use. But you can still tell everyone that you installed WordPress.org, and they'll think whoa, you're a software engineer and you're a web designer because you installed it yourself. Which brings me to my next point. This is also called self-hosted WordPress. You are going to start a self-hosted WordPress blog. They're the same thing as what we're doing here. Self-hosted is just the old-fashioned way of describing it. WordPress is of course free, and the theme we're going to use is free. Okay, once you've got your copy of WordPress up and running and your theme too, we're going to create some content. We're going to create content using 3 blog posts, and we're going to do it with images, links, all sorts of fun stuff like WordPress editor, bolding, lists, headers. I'm going to show you basic WordPress copywriting, and I'm going to show you basic SEO. That'll be the start in the blog post, and at the end we're going to see how to use SEMrush to figure out what post to write as you write more blog posts, and you want to write the ones that are doing well and enhance the ones that are ranking you and bringing you free organic traffic. And it'll show you how to rank those posts that are doing well even better, so you get towards the top of Google. So find what to write and find how to rank that post you write in Google. And I just wrote that question there, can you write 100 articles? Because it ties back to number 1, create a niche. If you can create a niche and you're comfortable with it, you might like it today, but can you write 100 articles on it over 2 years, let's say? You're gonna have to keep the blog going, and you don't need to write an article a day, but you do need that amount of topics. Is there enough for you to share? Do you know enough about your topic to write about it? Is there enough money left to be made in this niche? Those are the questions you just ask yourself, and of course, I'm here to help. I know you see a lot of videos on YouTube on how to start a blog, and the ones you'll see are probably ones where either someone's talking in front of the computer screen for 25 minutes being I made so many mistakes in blogging. I wish I knew these things, which I'm going to tell you ahead of time right now, blah, 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 which are awesome. And you're going to see videos where someone's like going through all the different types of blogs that are profitable and showing you different dollar signs. And those videos are awesome too. Our video, however, is different. Those videos get you in the excited mode, but our video shows you the technical web designer stuff to actually make a blog. But this is what we do, and we've done it forever, and we love it. So we're just going to go ahead and keep showing you how to make a blog the technical way with the real blogging skills, because the goal is for you to leave this tutorial with a physical blog that you have actually created. That's the steps, guys. I'm so excited to be your teacher and honored. If you're ready to get started and actually make a blog together, let's hop over to HostGator, where we're going to do step 3. We've already done step 1 and 2 now because we talked about it, and we're going to jump into step 3 and register your domain name and hosting so you have the perfect foundation to create a blog just like the pros. And if you don't think you're ready, then I still urge you to try heading over to HostGator with me and getting this domain and hosting set up, because at least you can hold yourself to having made that much. And you get a 30-day refund policy if it turns out you don't want to do blogging at all and your life goes in a different direction. At least you'll have committed to getting a domain name and hosting, and then you can go ahead and blog carefree. But I know a lot of you are ready and you are committed to blogging, so we're going to go ahead and get that domain and hosting out of the way the right way with a great discount so that you can just focus on your content going forward and become the best blogger in your niche. All right, so I'll see you over there at HostGator. All right, guys, so here we are at HostGator, where the pros host. So I do this a million times. I'll just give you my spiel on why HostGator is great so that you can have the same info as other videos and thousands before you that have showed up at this doorstep. Looks all modern now for this year, of course. And yeah, basically HostGator offers every sort of web hosting you can imagine. They are where 2 million plus websites are currently hosted. When I started working with them and bought their hosting, I think there was something like 75,000 websites hosted. So it's really grown stably and successfully and efficiently over time. The hosting they offer is shared hosting that we're going to get. There's also pro hosting, which is dedicated, where you get like your own server in a guarded vault somewhere. VPS is one step down from dedicated. It's like a virtual private control room with a few other websites near you. And then reseller is where you buy a bunch of hosting up front and then you sell it to like your neighbor and your friend, and you're like, hey, do you want a part of my hosting? Do you want to put your website on my hosting, But with reseller, you have to pay like a lot up front, and if you don't have that market in front of you for demand, I wouldn't do it. Plus, when you just get the shared hosting that we're going to get, you can host like your parents' website or your friend's website on your own HostGator spot as well. So you get to take care of them. It feels really great. Security, you get awesome stuff like a free SSL now at HostGator that wasn't always available. And I think we're going to get a free domain name today. Or if you're one of the rare people who needs to transfer one here, we can help you do that too. So I tried a ton of hosts, guys, and I have, since starting with HostGator, tried Bluehost, SiteGround, GoDaddy, DreamHost, 00 web hosting, a bunch of other ones. I won't name names on ones that didn't work, but a lot of the times other web hosts make me feel like it was too techy or confusing, or that I couldn't figure out how to install WordPress. There was just too much to click and like too much code. Pretty soon, once I started working with HostGator more and more, I realized it wasn't me, it was the other host's fault. So HostGator, you only have to click a couple buttons to install WordPress. Everything is intuitive and user-friendly, and basically it's the Google of web hosting. It just works, so we're gonna use it. All right, so to get started, go ahead and click on the Get Started button. All right, and it's going to take you to their hosting buckets here. You have the hatchling plan, the baby plan, and the business plan. And I apologize if I move my mouse too much. I get kind of excited with HostGator, and I start to pull the mouse up and down. But I'm just going to do the nice slide because I've gotten some complaints about that. So hatchling plan is the cheapest, the most affordable. You get one website. You get a ton of space. That's enough. You're never going to fill it. Unmetered bandwidth, like a huge pipe you can send information through. You also get email chat, and your domain is free now, and one-click WordPress installs, or other software too, like Magento, if you want to make a shopping cart with Magento. But we obviously use WordPress, as does most of the internet these days. You could also do the baby plan. It's a little more expensive, but you can host more websites, and you get more space. Other than that, they are essentially the same.
Although you do get that awesome marketing option. You get $500 on AdWords and $100 on Microsoft Bing, so you can get yourself in search. Business plan is just too much for today. I wouldn't do that unless you're on a corporate budget and someone insists, for example. All right, so I want you to keep the prices in mind, guys. Now it's time to talk about the most important thing to a beginner, or at least to me when I started out back in New York City in 2011, was the cost. You don't want to pay too much online because you want to try to do things for free if you can, and I want this to be basically free for you. So keep an eye on the costs, and we're going to come up here to where it says hostgator.com/webhosting, where you're going to get rid of the web hosting, delete, and just write in Greg. And keep your eye down there when I hit enter. All right, keep your eye down there. And we're going to see we got some savings, which is even better than the discount that HostGator had loaded up for us already. So basically they had like a 60% discount or 50%, and we just topped it. Super exciting, and that makes you get a better discount than anyone that shows up at HostGator, and it's also the best discount available right now, and I check all the time. Super cool. So once you see that price, you know you're good to go. It should be $264 right now. I know a lot of you are really concerned on the exact number, so if you see something different, let me know in the comments or shoot me an email. It's greg@dearblogger.com, and be like, hey Craig, what's the deal? I'm not seeing the discount. And I'll set you up manually with the right page to use. But in this case, we get 70% off or up to 71 if you go baby. But we want Hatchling, and it says welcome to your blogger readers. So that's my main blog. We've been using it over the years, and if you feel like going there after, it's just Greg right here. That's Greg, and you can get to HostGator by clicking right here, our little sidebar button. Okay, cool. So now that we're on the right page, guys, we're going to go ahead and come back over here, and we're going to click on Buy Now on Hatchling. So let's do it. You're almost there. All right, cool. So first step is to enter in our domain name. Now, if you already have a domain name chosen, that's fine. That's actually the best way to go because you put some thought into it. Your team has agreed on it. It's good to go. You can register a new domain name in that case. Or if you already own a domain name, like you brought one from a different site, maybe you registered it years ago on GoDaddy and you want to connect it to HostGator, you click on this button right here. In our case, I want to register a new domain name because that's free for 1 year, and why not take advantage? So I'm going to enter in our new domain name, which is going to be I Love Blogging, and we're going to see if that's available when we just click away. So it'll search for us. And if you can't get the .com on a popular domain name like this, that's fine. I do recommend getting the .com though, because it's the most recognizable. If people ask you what your name is at a conference and you tell them it's I Love Blogging or Dear Blogger or Joe's Crab Shack or something, they're going to go to the .com and try to find you. They're not going to go to the .org or .net. And if you ever sell your blog someday, which a lot of us do, once we move on, burn out, what have you, the .com will garner you the most profit. So we're going to have to massage this a little bit. How about I Love Bloggers? And we got it. All right, so just a little bit of creativity, get your mind in the right creative frame. Maybe go for a jog, go for a walk, and you'll get the domain name. Or just ask Greg in the comments. I love talking about domains. It's like so fun, and we'll make sure no one steals your idea too. Okay, so we're gonna go with the .com, free for 1 year, and I'm gonna come down. Avoid the other extensions. They're just trying to get more money out of you. They are a business after all, HostGator, just like you'll be. And we're going to uncheck domain privacy protection because I generally trust people. And we all get so much marketing stuff anyways. It's just going to happen. You just have to delete stuff from your inbox or, those random phone calls. It's just life. And it's not like any more or less when you sign up for HostGator. Next up in step 2, it's time to choose our hosting plan. Hosting plan. We're now British. And we're going to choose Hatchling. And then I'm going to go with the monthly option where you get the most discount. So we can see if you just want to start off for a little bit and do a month, you're going to pay less. It's just $5.98, but your discount's going to only be 50% off, which is still good. It's still a fantastic discount. Half off anything is great. Can't remember the last time I got half off anything other than a shirt at like J. Crew or Old Navy because they're going out of business. So 12 months is where you get the most discount. And from experience, I know it took me at least 10 or 11 months to make money for my blog. So if I'd only had the blog for 6 months or 1 month, I would have never got to that period where I start making money and earn back the cost of hosting and then some to pay bills, to pay rent, to pay drinks for my friends, all that stuff if I hadn't stuck with blogging for more than 10 or 11 months. And that's why it's great to get the blog for 12 months to set yourself up for success in blogging. Okay, great. So we got 12 months, although you can choose whichever one you're comfortable with. Just keep in mind that discount. And we're going to create our HostGator account. All right, so down here, I'm just going to do an email and confirm the email. They're not too specific with passwords. You can probably choose your favorite password there. And then a security pin. All right. Make that one super hard to crack. That'll be if you get, a support chat going with HostGator, they'll ask you your pin a lot of the time to identify you. So write that down. In step 4, we just need to enter in our billing info, just like you would at any major website like Apple, Airbnb, Uber, Lyft, wherever you shop online, Target, Walmart, Etsy. Go ahead and enter it in, and it's all 100% secure. And then we'll get your HostGator order processed. All right, pop in your credit card number there and your CVV code, or international users might want to use PayPal, or maybe you're just tight on money and you just have some cash in PayPal. That'll work too. And again, you can use credit card here instead, or you can also just pop in a debit card. So super easy. Let me know if you have any problems, and I'll contact HostGator directly to help you out. And guys, I really just want to make sure that you get hosting you can use for a long time, somewhere you don't have to really think about, where you can blog and also get the best discount possible. So that's what I'm here for, to help you. And I know that I've stayed with HostGator for, I think it was 2020. Wow, it's been since 2011. So 2011, not 2011. That'd be like 6 digits, and we'd be in the future. But yeah, it's been a while. I love them, and I want you to join too, because we're a great family. All right, so additional services, we're going to uncheck. Step 5 is done. That's all you got to do. A lot of these services, by the way, so this one you get for free. I don't know why they offer the charge option. Maybe it's like a more advanced SSL. Site lock, your site's already going to be secure with WordPress. I can show you free plugins that do the site lock sort of thing, and also do SEO and back up your site and do email. It's all available for free WordPress plugins, especially now that we're doing WordPress.org. So don't fall for those. You're going to learn so many little hacks and ways to problem solve. You're just going to love it. Now for step 6, it's time to make sure you have a coupon code that works. A lot of people don't have a coupon code at all, but I'm handing you mine today. I'm giving you big bonus. It's not case sensitive, so you can do lowercase. Make sure you have that code in there and it works. So check mark means validated. So yeah, just make sure you have a working coupon code, and I wanted to give you mine to make it simple and easy for you. I do get a small affiliate commission from HostGator if you use that. So that's how I keep my videos free, and I just make a little bit from them just for sending you their way. Happens like at the end of every quarter, so I don't get something right away or very much, but it just helps me keep the videos free, and it doesn't cost anything extra to you. Your price is still super low and doesn't change. So that's really nice, and that's how it works. All right. And I know a lot of people have used Big Bonus in the past, which is awesome, because I thought it would just be a couple people at first. What it does is it lets the coupon get even more valuable and a bigger discount as more people use it. So Big Bonus started off as 25% off, and then it became 30, and then we had to really work hard to get 35 off, and now it's 50% off, or I think it's over 70 if you do the year option, right? So it's really cool, and I hope you guys can keep taking advantage of my deal and just using the coupon. That's kind of a cool part of my life over here in my own blogging. So thanks for joining in. It's awesome to have you. We're going to do number 7 now, and that means check out what we're getting. So we get the 24/7, 365 live chat email support. Obviously, HostGator is great with support. Instant account activation, so you won't have to wait for someone to call you, or there's going to be no delay. Once we hit checkout now, your account will be ready. We can install WordPress. Money back guarantee, 30 days if you're not happy. Domain registration, we're going to get ilovebloggers.com. Your domain name will just be written in right here instead. All right. And maybe you want to transfer a domain name, then you don't pay for that today. And I'm not sure if you get the free domain name then. I'm pretty sure the free domain name only applies when you get hosting. So really consider getting a free domain name like we are. Lastly, shared hosting plan. We're going to do 12 months. You might have a different term period right here. That's okay. Get the huge discount. So what we're paying is just the $31.68. Don't worry about the subtotal. All these numbers confused me at first. It's literally just this number free, so it's gone. However, these two numbers would add up to the subtotal, and then the discounts all combine in there. So it's this big discount, and then $17.99 off makes you a huge discount right here. No tax, gotta love it. We don't have to pay the man a thing, and we're just paying for our hosting for 12 months. So $31.68 divided by 12 is what, like less than $3 a month? So it's basically just like less than a cup of coffee you get or some snacks at the gas station. Go ahead and check out your snack cabinet instead. See what your parent or your loved one left for you. Don't get those snacks that one day. I know it's tough, but that'll pay for your hosting. And it's basically free, which I kind of promised you guys. So I hope it feels like it's free. It really is. And just paying that tiny, tiny amount basically gives you access to all the tools that pro bloggers use, like we talked about at the start. Super excited to give you access to it. And with that said, let's move forward. We're going to come down and we're going to check this box right here. And now we're just going to click checkout now. And let's see what happens next. All right. I think there's going to be some WordPress installation involved. Let's do it. Here we go. All right. Select all crosswalks. All right, guys, so I just had to enter in a different email address because I have so many accounts at HostGator, and now we can check out now. All right, we can see I got an email saying your billing confirmed. Thank you, and HostGator server info from HostGator billing. Good to go. You can open up that email while they're setting up your account and check out your name server 1 and name server 2 if you want. That'll be used to connect a domain name from a different place to your HostGator if you need to. All right, congratulations, guys. And now it says welcome to the HostGator family. So you're in. You did it. As a technological and product innovator, HostGator is able to provide more than 400,000 customers. Well, they should change that number because it's like 2 million now. As we saw, innovative products, blah, blah, blah. Awesome. Let's click View Dashboard. All right, and here you are. This is exactly what I look at every day when I log into my HostGator control panel to build websites for clients or neighbors, to add email addresses, to work on some code, or just to go ahead and install WordPress again for a new blog, a new idea. This is where I go. So this is my original place where I go. My dearblogger.com card here is all the stuff that hosts dearblogger.com, dearblogger.org, and .com is of course where you can go to ask us to do this for you. We'll make website edits, changes, removals, or add features that you see in the videos. If you got stuck in a video or you don't have time, go to dearblogger.com and just request me or someone from our team to do that for you. And more importantly, here's our new blog. So this is what you're going to look like here. You're going to have this awesome little HostGator control panel card, and you can either manage it, like do things like, well, whatever management is, or in my case, I always click Launch cPanel. So this is where the fun really goes on, especially with installing WordPress. That's in Launch cPanel. So let's do it. All right, that's kind of cool. I've never seen the cute dino there. It's like a baby HostGator dino. Welcome to your new hosting account. cPanel is here to help. Always has been. HostGator has really stuck with cPanel over the years through updates, changes, all the developments. Hasn't been easy, but now cPanel is hopefully swimming in cash because they've done things so well over the years. So now here you are too in cPanel. With the robust selection of features, you'll be doing great things in no time. We can either create an email account or build a website, 2 little prompts there, or you can dive into all the other fun stuff, which I'm sure you will in time. In our case, I'm going to go with one of the prompts just because it's nice of them and click build a website. All right, maybe it's taking a little while before we can do the site publisher. So let's just scroll down, and we're going to pass file manager on the way down. That's where I upload files via FTP if you want to build a website just with HTML and CSS. Maybe you're taking a HTML, CSS, JavaScript class. That's where you'd upload the files, kind of like FileZilla. We're going to come down to software where we can do WordPress Manager by Softaculous and click that. You can see, like I promised, you get all the other software installs too, so you're super powerful. All right, and now it's time to install WordPress for perhaps your first time. If it is, one request, I want you to let me know in the comments if you thought it'd be easy like this is, or if you thought it'd be hard. What was your previous, pre-knowledge of how to install WordPress.org and create a blog or website before you found the video? What did you show up thinking, and how did that change once you saw the video here? So let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate it because I can gather all your info together and make a little presentation on it. All right, so WordPress management, we're just gonna hit install. Obviously, it's already highlighted for us. And now you're gonna click right here and make sure it's on HTTPS for the secure SSL. And you're gonna choose your domain name right here. So we just have one. All right, then in directory, leave it blank. And don't worry about this one. The SSL certificate loads up. It just takes a little time for HostGator to connect that for you. And the most recent version, if for some reason you want an older version, you can choose from like 10 of those. And that's good to go. So let's scroll down. Before we hit quick install, I want you to learn how to change a few things in your site settings so your blog looks good out of the gates. You can change the title. So it's gonna be I love bloggers. We'll make that line up with our domain name. And the site description is a place where bloggers connect. Cool. You can enable multi-site, that's WPMU plugin, or you can disable WordPress cron. I don't usually do those. We're just gonna go to user admin and change your login. And this part is obviously really important. So admin is heavily hacked these days. You don't wanna be targeted, so you just wanna use something like your name, or maybe a nickname, or first initial last name. But to keep it simple, I go with Greg, and that way when I write a blog post, it says by Greg, also by whatever your username is. We're gonna add in a password here. All right, and we're gonna change the email because I haven't set up this email quite yet, and I wanna get the emails from WordPress install. So let's put in your Gmail there, make sure to do that. All right, and that way you won't lose any installation emails with links or password information. Language here, you can choose from all the available languages on our beautiful planet. And I'm gonna do backups and classic editor so that we can use the WordPress editor that's been good for the past decade or so instead of the block editor. It's good to have an option to use both, but I think it's good for people to still start with the classic editor so they know how WordPress has been over the years, and the block editor still has some glitches. So we're gonna do that. You can also improve cache. And if you want to limit login attempts, that's fine too. That'll just make sure that your site can't get what's called a brute force attack. All right, so yeah, that's just going to be another plugin, and I don't really use that one. So less plugins is usually good to make your site faster, even though I know a lot of you are going to want a ton of plugins right away because it's like a shopping spree, and a lot of them are free and super powerful. So that is just fine to get as many plugins as you want for now. I know how it feels. Next up, we can select a theme, but I'd rather do that from within WordPress once we're in our WordPress dashboard. However, HostGator does offer us a nice suite. Get you excited, maybe a dental website, academy, real estate. But the only problem with picking a theme too soon is you might not actually love it. It might just look good on the preview, and then you install it and it doesn't look anything like that. So I want to make sure you get a theme that looks like you expect and looks good right away. That's all done, guys. Let's just email installation details to our Gmail again at the bottom. One more step to have a little redundancy there, and now you can come back up to the top and we can click quick install. Let's do it. And it looks like when I was clicking that, it just goes back and forth between the details we might want and having just a quicker, easier version. Which is funny. I didn't want to click this button here, quick install. What you actually want to click down here, guys, leaving all your settings as they are, is just you want to click install. So that's kind of cool. Softaculous just made that install button at the top flip back and forth, and they made this the install button that we want. Good to know. So everyone at the bottom, let's click install, blue button at the bottom, not the top. And congratulations again, the software was installed successfully.
If you're super excited to check out your new WordPress blog install, you can click this link right here to your blog, but it might not show up as live yet. Is it ready? Is it ready? Not quite yet. Okay, no big deal. We have to get that secure SSL working. So do not be offended. This is your login link. It'll always be yourdomainname.com/wp-admin. And in the case of our site here, it just wants us to activate our SSL. So if we go to our site like this, it's going to say like, hey, what the heck? There's no SSL. But if you go to your site without it, you can see your blog. So if you just get rid of the S, you can see your full blog. And this is what it looks like with the latest WordPress theme. Not too bad. It's just a white page and a hello world sample post, but it works. You're live. You can literally post anything now. So great job. All right, guys, welcome back. So we just installed our theme, and now it's time to set up that SSL and get our new theme. So we've installed the WordPress 2023 theme by default, but we have a new theme picked out that's perfect to start a blog with, and we've been using it for centuries. I'm just kidding, like for almost a decade we've been using it, and it converts, and that's important. You'll have to excuse me, life is crazy right now, and I'm the type of person that doesn't curate my backgrounds or videos. We just jump in so you get to see my life. Sometimes you'll get to see a cat or a dog walking by. Hope they don't make too much noise. Got my coffee here, so we're good to go. Just hit the super Costco near us. So we're good to go. And it's just like your life. Sometimes you'll blog, you'll have a good post going for a couple hours, you'll get taken away to go to soccer practice or tennis or grocery store or pick up the kids. We don't have kids yet, but you'll know when we do. And yeah, then we come back and we blog together. It's a beautiful thing. So let's get ourselves logged in and let's see where we're at. And thanks for listening to my little update there. So here we are, and we're gonna look up I love bloggers. All right, I'm gonna get rid of a couple other client websites I was working for. Don't need to see that. And dearblogger.com, those are our plugins, don't need to see that. And here are the important emails we got. So we have HostGator server info, which is going to contain the name servers that you'd enter in at GoDaddy or Namecheap or somewhere else if you bought your domain name somewhere other than HostGator, and you click that little tab at HostGator that said I already own my domain name. You have to enter in these two things over there to connect your domain name to your HostGator server. Then your HostGator website will show up, which we just made. In any case, we don't need to do that now, so we can have the Go to HostGator button, which should take you to your portal. All right, this is where you log in for your billing and your control panel, aka cPanel. But to get into WordPress, it's a separate email. So back, and WordPress will send us some emails that are like, plugins were updated, that's fine, we don't need to see that now. More importantly, they should have sent us an install email. So how about we look up WordPress install? Nothing from WordPress. So it looks like Softaculous isn't doing that WordPress install email anymore, which just means we'll have to go to our HostGator email in our inbox, and we're going to need to use the Go to HostGator button to actually get into WordPress. So thankfully we have this. And all you need to do is log in with that password you created at HostGator and the email you made at HostGator when we did the order form and we paid. And that will be what you use to log in. All right, pretty cool. So things are working. And here we have our ilovebloggers.com card. We're just going to go to the launch cPanel. And then from here, we're going to get our WordPress account. You can hit Command or Control F to find the WordPress area so you don't have to look through all the icons. Click the manager again where we installed WordPress, and now here we have our fresh WordPress copy, and we can just click login. So this is how to log into WordPress for your very first time. And here we are. So now if we refresh our site here, it'll show that we're logged in. Or maybe it won't. That's okay. I like doing the refresh with the delete browser cache here. And if you want to get that, just look up the clear cache shortcut in Google Chrome. Free to install. You want to have something cool too because we have our video going, subscribers are watching. You want your Benabone so bad.
You can learn about vendor modes at petprinciples.org or pet blog, which clearly the Cavapoos crave. Okay, so first thing I'm going to show you is how to install a new WordPress theme. From our dashboard here, we're going to want to come over to Appearance and click on Themes. And we can see our WordPress site is wearing the 2023 theme that's active. You can click on it, and then you can go to Customize if you want and check out the basic settings here. And we can X out and see that we also have Sinatra 2021 and 2022. And if you don't want one of the themes, you can always just click the red delete button just to keep it clean. All right, now to add a new theme, we're going to click on this plus right here. That's the big blue plus. And that's really the only way to get a new theme in there, except for if you wanted to upload one. You click that, and then you could upload a theme that you've bought and downloaded. Go back, and we're going to add the new theme. And this way we can search the WordPress library. It's all done through the internet, so you don't have to leave your computer or go to any other website. It's all right here inside your WordPress dashboard. And we're going to look up Simple Catch. I'm going to get right to the point because we know a theme that works. And there it is. And we're just going to click on Install and activate. And then right away, we can refresh our site and we'll see that things look really different. All right, so right away we have a new logo up top, new menu that's working, we have a search bar, and I love it because there's a sidebar, there's already a blog post, and the structure is in place. You've just poured the concrete and laid the foundation for your new restaurant you're gonna make here, or your new house, and the borders and the lines just make a lot of sense for a blog. Plus you get two cool backgrounds. You get this textured background up top and the white background. Really good to get people to focus on your content right about here. Next, I want to show you how to change the login to your WordPress site so you don't have to go through the HostGator portal screen. Let's go back to our dashboard and let's click on Users. And you'll find us right here. Let's click our name. All right, and there's the username we made in Softaculous when we installed WordPress. But what you're going to want to do is set new password and change the crazy password to ideally what you used before, but in our case, some of you will have forgotten the password you made before, so we're just going to set it again right there. This one's not good enough though, so I have to use my own, and I'm going to do that right now and update it. And great, so now on our site right here, we can refresh again. Looks like we got an email saying someone changed our password. That's us. And if you wanted to save the login screen at the top right here, just put a /wp-admin and hit enter. That's how you'll always go to your login screen. And now WordPress will understand, hey, we're logged in. And you'll get that toolbar at the top, which everyone loves. So next I'll show you how to get back to your dashboard from this screen. That's really easy. You just click on your site title. There's a little dash sign for dashboard, and then it becomes a home screen. And what that means is that when you click on the site title and it says home, you're going to go to your home page as the world sees it. In other words, this is the front end of your blog where people will read it. And if you click on the site title that has the dash right there, it'll go back to the dashboard. You could think of it like someone flipping a mirror, 180 degrees back and forth. Or you could think of it like going from on stage to backstage at a theater. This would be the backstage and this would be the stage that the audience sees, and everything is out here for the public. So kind of like the privacy back here, and this is where you make everything. It just gets the feel kind of ingrained in you when you know what the button means up top. Because at first I was like, whoa, does the world see this? Like, what is welcome to WordPress? But the world doesn't see this. The world sees the front end of your WordPress site, where you'll also see what you publish. Now that we know how to manage our themes in WordPress, let's learn how to manage our plugins. And that's located just below Appearance in Plugins. You can just click on Plugins. And we're going to get rid of some of these notifications because WordPress and WordPress developers are always trying to get us to install their plugin, but we don't want things like Jetpack right now. So these are the plugins your site came with, and let's make sure that my page right here matches your page so we're on the same page. I'm going to activate Akismet, which is anti-spam, and we don't need to do the whole key thing right now. You can do that later. In any case, now your site will be protected from spam. All right, we're also gonna have backuply. That's our backups. We're gonna have classic editor. That will decide how our blog posts and pages are edited. And it's a lot easier than the block editor, I think. Creative mail by Newfold Digital, we can deactivate because we just don't want to use email marketing through them. And once you deactivate a plugin, you can also click delete and then OK to delete. We're also going to delete Hello Dolly. That just means the little quote appears in the upper right corner of our screen from WordPress. Not necessary. And deactivate Jetpack. Opt-in Monster is really cool and we didn't want it though, so we're going to deactivate it. That would be a good form for collecting email subscribers. It pops up on pages that you tell it to, but I don't think our readers need more pop-ups right now. Speedy Cache is the go-to for clearing WordPress caches, kind of like clearing our browser cache up here, but they're two different tools, and let's keep this one. You never know, we might want to hit clear all cache if our images get stuck or if the right images aren't showing up in your blog posts. HostGator plugin, we can keep that just for old time's sake. WP Forms Lite, deactivate, delete that one. And Yoast SEO is really good to keep. That'll give you a blog post checklist to make sure you're putting the right keyword phrases in your posts and structuring them from the get-go to rank in Google. So now we need our SSL plugin. Or do we? We see we have an SSL going right here. And if we click to our site, looks like our SSL is running. That's pretty cool. If you don't get that right away, you can always install a plugin called Really Simple SSL. You just click Add New and look up Really Simple SSL, and that'll help clear up any issues you might have with your SSL certificate. But HostGator is great, and it just took them a little time to find us and to activate our SSL for us in the back end. So no action needed on your part. Let's go back and actually learn how to install one plugin for real though. Let's go to plugins and add new. And I really like the plugin Insert Headers and Footers. It's going to make your site more powerful. That's what plugins do. They make your WordPress blog more powerful. And in this case, here's the plugin we want, made by WP Code. And what it does is help you install third-party code from Facebook or Google, for example, that you want to work on your blog. All right, and we'll see how to do that in a little bit. And that plugin doesn't need to be right here on this list. It just goes right here under code snippets. So pretty cool. We can use that one, like I said, in a little bit. Most plugins, guys, will go on your list of plugins right here, and you might want to see it in a nice listed way. So let's see a plugin that does go on this list. Let's add new, and let's look up one of the other all-time favorites, which is Simple Contact Form 7. Let's just call it Contact Form 7, just the way it is, and everyone remembers it. As you can tell, 5 million's a lot. Activate it, and that'll let us put a Contact Us form on your contact page. Great for your blog here, and great for your client websites. Like when you make one for the business down the road, all you need to do is insert a little code and you get a contact form. And lastly, let's see how to actually upload a plugin from your desktop. We can do that by clicking Add New. And there's a plugin I love called TF Social Share, which is phenomenal for getting you Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus buttons above and below your blog posts. TF Social Share doesn't exist anymore in the WordPress dashboard, but the Subsistic one does. It's pretty good if you can't find TF Social Share. However, I'm determined, and I like finding plugins that exist from the past. So I know you might be new to the WordPress plugin library and WordPress plugins around the web, but come with me on this little journey here. We're going to see if we can find TF Social Share, archive upload. And sometimes you really got to look in Google if they take it off the interwebs, but it's on someone's website still. I know it's by my buddy. And by using a long tail Google search here with the name of the plugin developer too, which only someone like me who's worked in WordPress for a million years would know, I've found the themes info site where the plugin's hosted. So you can see how WordPress plugins evolve over time. Sometimes your favorite ones are just hosted on a site here, but they're still popular and still work. The developer just didn't feel like updating them anymore because it's a lot of work. Maybe they wanted to work on other projects, but we still want their plugin here so we can download it. And it should just open in a little window like this. Looks like it didn't, so what's that all about? Let's try this one.
Okay guys, don't mind me, just on a plugin journey here, so you're gonna follow along, I hope. We have the Twitter, Facebook, social share on our site at Dear Blogger. For some reason it's not available on the web, so we have to get clever. Let's go back to our HostGator portal and let's learn how to download it and then put it onto your servers, because this plugin really is that good. We're gonna launch our cPanel, and then we're going to go to File Manager. Then we're going to open up dearblogger.org, and then we're going to open up WP Content, and then we're going to open up Plugins, and we're going to find TF Social Share right here. Okay, so what we need to do is open up that folder. Now we're going to hit Command A to select, oh, we can't do that. We're just going to actually highlight these ones and Command or Control and highlight the rest of them. Then we're going to hit download. So these 6 files comprise a plugin. We're going to download multiple items to our computer, allow it, and just save it as TF Social Share and save. And hit save as many times as you need there. Alright, and in our downloads folder, we see everything we just downloaded right here. Except for I shouldn't have changed that one file there. So that should just be readme.txt, so that all these files read exactly the same as they would in the plugin here. It's readme, tfadmin, tfdisplay, tffg, and Twitter, Facebook share, which is the bulk of the plugin. And now, to recreate the plugin on your end, you can go back to the dashboard for your own blogging card here, and let's launch cPanel and go to your file manager. Here we are in our website, so we're already in the right place. Let's just hit public HTML. Then you can get to WP content, and then you're gonna have your plugins. And we're gonna make a new folder. So let's go folder, and we're gonna call it Twitter, Facebook, Google +1 share. It's kind of a mouthful here. So it's gonna be Twitter -Facebook Google +1 share. And I'm not sure Google +1 is even available anymore, but we're going to keep this consistent with the name. Create folder, and now open up that folder, and it's time to upload the files we just downloaded. So you're wondering, where do I get those? Because I don't have access to Greg's server there. You're just going to download your own Twitter, Facebook, social share files from the link in the description beneath the video. And I'll have that say download social media plugin right here. So just click that and you'll get those files to your desktop. And don't worry, we've had to do like on the fly jobs like this before on YouTube, so we're pretty good at it. Then you're gonna hit select file, and you're gonna find the files you just downloaded from the YouTube description. And it looks like it just wants to do one at a time, so it's fine. I'm just gonna click one and open it. Then select again. I'll try to go quick and click the other one. Select again. And select again. Alright, we've now recreated our plugin files. Let's see what we made. Let's just go back to that folder we made. You can see here they are in your own WordPress file manager. That means in our WordPress plugins, where were we? We're back in ilovebloggers.com. We should be able to go to the plugins area, and we see this interesting new plugin. Whoa, we downloaded that. And it's from Kunal Chikar, our boy, who's missing on the internet. Probably building some other really cool plugins or artificial intelligence software. Stuff like that for the future. In any case, we were able to recreate that awesome plugin. All you need to do is just activate it. And you've now learned probably the most advanced way to upload a plugin into a WordPress site that we've done in these tutorials. Awesome. Okay, let's go back to our site and let's see if it really is active. We can click on Hello World, and there is a working plugin. Next, I want to show you guys how to add some blog posts. We currently have our Hello World post, and that's from WordPress, kind of like a gift just to show you what a blog post looks like. When you're on this post, which by the way you could get to from your homepage, now that we have this awesome 2023 blog layout, we could just click on the post
and it'll load right away, super quick and SEO friendly, and you start reading, and of course someone could leave a comment. So a lot of people actually like editing this post, I've found, just because it's like existing already and it's a little bit easier, sort of like you would edit a recipe and not have to make a recipe from scratch. You just add to it or tweak it. So if that's you, then by all means go ahead and change the title. You can change the link right here, what it says. That's also called a slug in WordPress, and this is what you share with people when you're like in an email and you're like, hey, I want you to read my post, copy the permalink and put it in an email, and you can change the text. But in our case, I want to just start totally fresh, so we're going to go to all posts and I'm going to trash it. But there's still a layer of protection here. You can go to trash and you can always recover a post, just restore it, or if you want it gone forever, no record of it, delete it permanently. From the post screen, let's click add new, and I have a 3-step post plan. I know it sounds kind of like cheesy or something you'd hear on an infomercial, but bear with me. I have a 3-step post plan that's worked for launching countless blogs across niches, and it's just 3 different types of posts you can write, which should fit whatever your topic is. Writing these types of posts gets people more engaged than it would if you just wrote whatever's on your mind, because that's the hardest part, is staring at a blank screen and having a bunch of stuff on our mind and not knowing what thing to write first or how much to include in a post. This post plan and structure will help you decide. So the first post you want to write on your blog ever, according to my strategy here, is a welcome to my blog. All right, you can make it clever, you can make it simple. This post is designed to greet people. You can't forget to greet people. It's kind of like a nice hotel. Without a greeting, then someone just feels a little bit less important, and you want people to feel important at your blog doorstep. And you can use it to say things besides the greeting, like what you plan to do with the blog and what you want them to get from it, and how you want people to interact with your blog, like comment, share it, hit the like button, all that stuff we want. Helps to tell people. And as we go through writing this first post together, I'll explain to you the WordPress buttons right here, which help you structure the post and add different sorts of features like bolding, linking, or quotes, etc. So the first thing I'm going to say is, welcome to my blog, in a British accent, because I was already starting to do it, and sometimes when I'm writing, I just hear myself write in a British accent. Do you? If you do, let me know in the comments. Alright, next let's ask a question from the readers. So, who are you? My readers here are passionate bloggers who want to build. Alright, and now we'll say, who am I? I learned how to create a blog using WordPress, but I first used Blogger decided to start a WordPress blog. Everything changed. I got gigs on bigger niche blogs, made some ad rev, and my friends and family actually liked my blog design. Now, 12 years later, I have sunny, beautiful, tropical Minnesota. Okay, what can you get from this blog? Blogging tips to build a blog the right way. Strategies to make money blogging. First, write these 3 posts. Don't get too ahead of yourself there. The money will come. Now let's go ahead and add some headers. So first off, we're just going to do a bold. A bold is just the B. And then we're going to do an italics. That's just the I. Who are you? That could be a header 2. Heading 1 is too big. That's like the title of the post. Who am I? Heading 2. What can you get from this blog? Could be a heading 4. That's a little smaller. All right, what can you not find here? A little smaller again. And then lastly, we're going to finish with the big one. Heading 2. To do a list, go ahead and hit the bulleted list or the numbered list. And then you can just hit backspace, enter, and the list will fall into place. All right, there you have it. And to make a link, you're going to go ahead and highlight some text. So blogging gigs. Let's prove that I have some blogging gigs with the Australian blog called ProBlogger. There's one by me. So with these guest posts, I was for sure able to write more around the world because people noticed that I wrote for ProBlogger and they wanted to hire me then. And the revenue around my blog was a lot because they have a ton of readers who are eager to start blogging, and when ProBlogger gives you a link back to our blog, people come over and then they interact with the offers that we have on our blog. So that's pretty cool. I'm forever thankful to Darren Rose and Belinda Weaver and the team at ProBlogger. To add a link, just insert edit link. I'm hitting Command Paste, and then you can do the gear, open link in a new tab, and update. And we made our first link, and we made our first post. Let's go ahead and give it a category, which is just how to start a blog. And if you want, you can make that like super formal and capitalized. And click add new category. Make sure to do that step. I always forget that one. Lastly, we might need a featured image here. So let's set featured image and select files, and it'll look through our computer. All right, and we want some cool like image of ourselves here. So one place to go is Facebook. There's our puppy. But in our case, we're just gonna do a picture of ourselves because we talked about myself and Dear Traveler. And there you have it. Us in a car. Who doesn't like seeing their favorite blogger in a car? And that is Snowy meowing to get in from our porch. So in WordPress, the images might not upload if they came right from your phone. They're kind of big images then. You can always go back and forth, and if it's frozen like this, you could just X out. And sometimes the image will have already come in. So you just need it to go in and out like that, and the image looks fine. Just make sure it's check marked. Over here, you can change some image details, like a caption. So you can say like, this is us in a car. In Florida, I think we were, or a description, or the alt text is like good for SEO. So, Dear Blogger and Dear Traveler in a car in Florida. Set featured image, and this image is not going to be in a blog post, so it doesn't need a caption. But if you want to put the image in a blog post, you can go ahead and make some space, add media, and you can add the image like that, or you can upload another file. So let's do it. Why not indulge? All right, and it might upload slow again. That's okay. WordPress just has a lot going on. It's really quick. It actually is quick behind the scenes. It just, you need to go back and forth sometimes. And there's our image, and it usually should be much quicker in WordPress. Some of these images I have are just kind of big, and you can see the size. Over here, it's like 743 KB and then 724 KB. And you can always shrink an image if it's giving you trouble in WordPress or on the web. Just go to compress PNG in Google, and I usually like going with compress or maybe tiny PNG. Has been good for years and years. Okay, so our image is good. Let's go ahead and then figure out the attachment display settings real quick. So it's gonna align none if we want it just to sit in the post and have text beneath it. If you want it to sit in the post and have text wrap around it, you do align left or right. So it's like newspaper style, kind of nestled. In our case, I just like when they sit and there's nothing around the image to the right or left. You can have it link to somewhere like another web page, or you can just link to none and you can choose the size. All right, let's insert into post with a medium size. And it's a little blurry, so I'm gonna edit it. Stop it, so guys, stop that. Stop scratching your face and everything. Make it a little bigger, why not? It's a bigger image to begin with, and update. And there we are. Now this image, we can do a caption. Let's edit it and put the caption and update. Cool, now let's publish our first post together. We did it. Let's make it happen. And instead of my blog, you could write the title to your blog, but in our case, just to keep this generic, because I don't know the title of your blog, we're just going to keep it as welcome to my blog. And publish. WordPress will work its magic. And now, automatically, this part's the funnest, and it's actually hard for people to figure out how to get posts on their homepage. But automatically, when we go to our homepage, the post will be on your homepage. That's super cool. You don't have to move anything or drag and drop it. The blog post will automatically populate in a logical timeline fashion from top to bottom on your homepage. And what's this thing? Okay guys, so now that we got our first welcome to the blog post live, let's learn those other two blog post types that will set you up for a successful launch. And speaking of launching, we launched into a new generation of trackpads here. It's the Magic Trackpad from Apple. It's gonna make you guys really happy not having to hear my annoying, awful mouse clicks and drags. Sorry about that in the past, but we are moving on to better times here. And who's that? It's Buddy. All right, let's make that second blog post. So here we are with our first blog post looking good. We are gonna edit the slider after the blog post, which will incorporate the different blog post featured images. Let's hover on new in our skinny nav and click post for our second post. And the second post is just gonna be a part of your expertise, like a big part. So it's going to be something like ultimate guide to, in our case, blogging and bloggers, but in your case, whatever your blogging niche is. So we need some text. I'm not going to have time to write out a whole ultimate guide here, although an example is on our blog from Dear Blogger. I started making this ultimate guide back in 2012, and I've added to it every year. It seems like every month since then up until now. And it's really gotten big. It's gotten over 200 comments, which I've linked right here. So you can see how many people this blog post has helped. So many people have stopped by from different generations, different countries over the years. And yeah, that's the beauty of an ultimate guide. They are evergreen, meaning your ultimate guide will stand there forever. And after you add things to it, it just becomes more valuable. You don't have to go ahead and like make a new ultimate guide. You can simply have one, and people are gonna love just seeing what you've added to it and showing up and checking it out, hopefully day after day. So that said, let's make our own ultimate guide. Let's make it totally you. And you're gonna need probably a cool image like this. This is from my old place in Chinatown. Like button you already have, and that will start working once I go ahead and put the code back in. Facebook will change on you from time to time. It'll show all the likes there. One note, this ultimate guide could be a blog post or a page. It doesn't really matter because Google will process posts and pages pretty much the same way, and you just need to make sure enough people see it. In my case, making it a page was good, and I put it up here, but you could put a blog post up here as well. Let's just make it a blog post though, so you have 3 good things to launch with. All right. And if you see an image around the web that you like using, like this image here from my ultimate guide on where and how to make a blog, you can just right click it and save it. Borrowing images on the web is really common. Just make sure to give credit to the original creator or author. And we can come back to WordPress and add media and upload that image. All right, this image is a lot smaller. It's only 39 KB, so uploads a lot faster. And let's make this one full size and insert. Cool, so I'm gonna start writing ultimate guide on your niche topic. This article will be ultimate. All right guys, so if we want this text to go to the right of the image, you can always just edit the image, and you don't even need to go to the pencil icon. You can just align it to the left and your text will wrap. Pretty cool. All right, and in the interest of time, we're gonna make this part of the categories, how to start a blog, and just publish it. Then we can get on to our third post. Awesome, let's check it out. And oops, our blog post looks crazy. Who's gonna read that? So let's edit the post and change up how we made things. All right, so we're actually gonna want this image to be aligned none. And in terms of the featured image, we want this image of the cool cat moving its hand. So let's set featured image, select it and set featured image. And now we don't want the image to appear twice. If you update it and view it, it's gonna show up as the featured image right there. But really, the image won't show up twice because it's just one time in the featured image box right here, and then one time inside the post right here. To change how this image looks inside the post, you actually just need to change the image settings within the article. So let's edit post. And here's the image, and you could also center it, for example, and it will be centered when someone's reading the blog post. All right, there we go. Let's go back to our homepage and set up our third post. For our third post, you need something controversial. Now, what I mean by that is just an article that challenges the current viewpoints and the current narrative inside your niche. People don't want to show up at your blog to get more of the same that they're already knowing. They want to show up to find something unique. And a unique perspective positions yourself as an expert quicker than if you just start sort of regurgitating everything that's out there and trying to collect things that are already available. So let's go ahead and make that new controversial post. New post. And everyone in the world, I think, is convinced that blogging might be dead for 2023 and beyond for this year because people have been saying it's dead for 2 or 3 years now. I'm going to take the stance that welcome to the future of blogging. Guess what? The fun is just getting started. Blogging is just getting going, and that everything we've known about blogging since 2010, 2009, or whenever we think it got started was just a foundation for the next phase beginning now. And it's going to be incredible because more people are going to be blogging, and we're going to be using futuristic technology like AI, better SEO, better themes, better graphics to make blogging even better. And you're going to be at the center of it. So let's see, why is blogging going to be amazing? Well, there's the reasons I just listed. That if you create a blog today and use WordPress to do it, you'll only be at the start of the party and at the front of the line to get in fact. We're going to categorize this on how to start a blog, and we're also going to categorize it under future of blogging, because who doesn't love thinking about the future? All right, and we're going to need a futuristic image for it. One place I like getting cool futuristic images is Pixabay.com. All right, there's also Pexels, but Pixabay seems to be the best for now. So we're going to search Pixabay for futuristic blogger. All right, and you'll see what it finds. Sometimes it's just going to give you iStock images, which we don't need here. So let's just look up futuristic. All right, we can see we're getting some images that we are starting to like. Futuristic desk right here. Kind of cool right here. Here we have this concept of connecting everyone with blogging, which is nice too. All right, and I'm going to settle on the Petronas Towers here because I really want to visit Kuala Lumpur, and I think that will be inspirational for me at least. Hopefully for all the other bloggers too. We're going to download, and I always like downloading the 1920 by 1109s. Not a robot, and download. All right, and we're going to call this one Petronas Towers. It's a good idea to change the title because then, it won't be able to trace exactly the image file. And then you can have your own image file. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and add a featured image for that one. Upload files, select files, grab our Petronas Towers, and you should be good to go. All right, and once we get all the right images as our blog post featured images, we'll put them in our blog post slider. Okay, let's publish and click back to our homepage, and now we have 3 awesome blog posts. Great job. On our second blog post, the ultimate guide, what if you want to have the image right here inside the post be different from the featured image? Well, to do that, you can just keep your image inside the blog post right here, and we can change the featured image. So I know I want at least one image of a path through nature because that image has proven to be highly converting in my efforts. So let's do path in nature. All right, and we're going to get something green. Maybe there's a fence. Maybe it's going to show people the way. And these images are pretty good. We just want to make sure we settle on the right one if we're going to use it for a while.
Okay, I'm loving these images. Maybe we just want a little more sunlight. And we're going to settle on this image here because it incorporates everything from a path to a pond to a bench. And we're going to free download it. Go with the 1920, not a robot, and pop it into our post. And back in your post, all you need to do then is just change the featured image. Upload files, select files. And a nice relaxing image never hurts. And I think that was the longest we've ever searched for demo images on a tutorial, but you guys are just that worth it. Set featured image and update. And awesome. Great job. Okay, so what is Greg doing in the dearblogger.org media library looking at all these how to start a blog images? That's a nice one. Well, after you've taught people how to start a blog for as long as I have, you have all sorts of demo images from your archives, including a cartoon of myself, which I'll show you how to make in the YouTube description, where I show you how to do everything. And I just figured maybe we'd do one of these images instead of that image of us two in a car on the blog, so it makes sense and it's kind of meta. So it's like a welcome to the blog post about how to start a blog because you're here in this video learning how to start a WordPress blog. So here we are. That's cool. I like that one, kind of trippy, matrix blog on blog on blog. So we're going to grab one of these images, and to do that from a different website around the web or even in WordPress if you want to share it, you can always just grab the image like this. You can grab the link from the file URL and copy it and then just paste that in a new tab. And you'll be able to download the original image. Just right click, save image as, and we're good. And we can do that one more time. So which one do you guys want to use from here for our demo blog today? This one's pretty cool. But this one's like really an image that worked well for us over the past because people like having a number of steps that they know they can get through. So let's try this image for our new blog at I Love Bloggers. And it's good for your readers to see the same images over time. That'll really condition them and let them know that they're in the right place because your branding is important. Okay, so here we are on the blog, and we're going to go to the welcome to the blog article again and edit the post. And we're just going to make a different featured image. So that's us hanging out, and we're going to remove this image, upload files, select files, and then we'll get start a blog in 5 steps. And set featured image and update. Beautiful. Okay, so now when we're on our blog, we'll see the 3 images we want, and we really want them to be in the slider looking good too. And that's another reason I did this. So this start a blog in 5 steps image looks really off at the top. We want it to fit perfectly in this window. So how do we do that? And how do we make sure that we see the right part of the bench and we see the right part of the city over here in Kuala Lumpur? Well, we're going to need to customize the images. So let's go to customize for our very first time. All right, and in this section, there's the featured post slider. Let's open that up and check out the slider options. We can see our blog post image slider wants to pull images from our featured images in the blog post articles. But if we were more specific and we told the slider that the number 1 featured post ID was this number and this number and this number, then this would be the first image from the first ID we chose, and the second image and the third and the fourth image from a specific ID. Each blog post has its own ID. So in our case, we need to just configure the images so they look good because they're already in there. You can also change the effect of how things move and the delay and the length. So let's go out of customize by hitting the X, and let's go to our homepage. And we can see just by going to that slider area, it turned off our slider. We no longer get that easy demo slider because WordPress thinks that we're making our own custom slider now. And that's what we have to do. So why don't we open up one of the blog posts, like welcome to my blog, and we're going to edit the post. So we have to do 2 steps now. We have to figure out the post ID of each of the blog posts that we want to feature in our slider, and we have to resize each of the images. So let's open up a demo of Simple Catch because we can then see the exact size of the slider. We're going to open up Simple Catch from Catch Themes and view the demo. And here it is looking really good. So for the slider, we need to know the width of it and the height. And I'm going to right click Inspect. And that way we can see when that little bar and that little notification comes up top. So one more time, we can see what the width and height is. So it's 976 wide by 313 tall. Let's do that one more time. Look up by that home button up here. That notification pops up. 976 by 313. And you can also see that down here in the HTML editor. The width is 976 pixels by 313 pixels tall. So that's what we should get our images size to. Let's go ahead and do that now. 976 by 313. Okay, so here we are on our customizer. We're going to go to our blog post instead. We're going to go to posts. We're going to go to future blogging first. And we have an image we want to edit down here. Let's open the image. And now let's click edit image. Okay, and the way to change the image size here is not to use the original dimensions and just put in like 976 by 313 there, because it'll scale it the way WordPress wants. What we want to do is actually hit crop, and that'll give us this playful little dragging window. Then just move it around a little and bring your mouse over to aspect ratio. And it's in this area that we can write 976 by 313, and you'll see that window change accordingly. Perfect. Now we can drag it, and it'll stay in that same aspect ratio because we've changed it to our liking. Okay, pretty cool. So once you get the size perfect, maybe you want more of the bay, maybe you want more of the towers, you're probably using a totally different image altogether. Let's make sure we can get the tip tops of the buildings there. We're going to go ahead and hit crop once we're ready. And now we'll save it. Okay, now we need to reset that featured image so it's the wider version, and we need to update our blog post. And let's go repeat that for our other two posts. Ultimate Guide to Bloggers, edit featured image, edit image, hit crop, change the aspect ratio to 976 by 313, drag it down accordingly, and crop, and save. Set featured image, and we'll update. Okay, now we're going to remember our post IDs. We can remember this post ID first. It's just post equals number 9 up here. You can see the number I'm highlighting with my trackpad. Alright, and now we're going to go to the other posts. We can see Ultimate Guide is post 13, and you have Future Blogging is post 18. The reason those numbers don't go in chronological order is because IDs, those numbers, are set to images too, and other pieces of media that you upload. So everything gets an ID, including pages. So it's 9, 13, and 18, and now we can go back to customize and then go to our featured post slider, add slider options, and we can do 9, 13, and 18, and publish. And WordPress should understand that we want those 3 beautiful images in our slider on the home page. And we did it. Great job. And of course you can change the order that those numbers appear on your slider, and you can go for as many as 4 of them, or possibly even more. So what if you want to control exactly the text that appears beneath the slider, these little excerpts, and exactly the text that appears below your blog post before someone can click continue reading? In other words, you don't want your text cut off with the ... We can change that using an excerpt. Let's open up a blog post and edit your post. And now just paste the text you want to show in the excerpt window. Now where is that? Let's highlight some text and copy it. Now we're going to pop open screen options, and we're going to make sure we have excerpt checked. There's all these other WordPress editor features in your post editor. Close screen options. Excerpt should come in somewhere on the sidebar. Maybe at the very bottom, the R should blows, and we can just drag excerpt to the sidebar where it belongs. And I like it somewhere near the publish button or the update button. Now let's paste in our text, and let's update it. And you can see it goes all the way to
front inline, by the way. Okay, and now we've controlled what text appears. It's just a little too much. And we've controlled what text appears on our slider. That is so cool. Thanks, WordPress, for making that convenient. Let's just go back to the post and let's edit that and size it down a little bit so people don't have to read too much before they can continue reading. Let's just drop it off right after blogging is dead. Cliffhanger. And update. And that is how to make use of the excerpt feature in WordPress. Next up in our how to create a WordPress blog video here, guys, we're going to learn how to remove widgets from our sidebar to make room for new widgets like our Facebook like box. To get rid of widgets, you can hover on your blog title and click widgets. You're going to get taken to the widget editor using blocks, and we don't like blocks, we like classic editors. So let's go to plugins, real quick, add new, and search for a lesser known widget called Classic Widgets. Install that and activate. And it's just like classic editor. It gets you the WordPress people have been knowing and loving for decades. Now we can go to appearance widgets, same place as before, and we're gonna get rid of the sidebar things. So here's search, we can keep search. We're gonna get rid of some of these other ones though, because it's just so much code. All right, and we only want code that we understand. So now when we go to our site, it'll automatically save and we just have our search bar. Awesome. Let's see how to add a Facebook like box to our WordPress blog here. So we can go back to widgets, and I'm gonna go to the text, which is where you'll add basically any custom widget or code or just some message you wanna write, or maybe an image or an advertisement. The best place is to put it in a text widget. Okay, cool guys. And that's because you can have visual for writing like Microsoft Word or text for pasting in code and stuff like that. There's also a custom HTML widget, which you might want to check out later, but for now, text will do the job. Okay, so we're gonna go to the Facebook like box window. Head over here and click on the like box. All right, and that's just gonna be this little like box here. So it's actually called the like button. Here we are in like button. But we don't want a button because we already have like buttons above our blog posts and pages from the TF Social Share plugin. We actually want the Facebook page plugin, as they now call it. Let's click on that link. And let's enter in our Facebook page so someone can like it right from our blog sidebar. Now you can choose how it appears, and you can choose things like the width. So you can customize that if you need to. Click away and you'll see the changes. Maybe you have a really skinny sidebar, you need a skinny Facebook page plugin. In our case, we're just gonna go with the defaults because it'll auto size in WordPress. You can do things like hide cover or use small header. That's kind of cool. And now we can just insert it right into WordPress by clicking Get Code. When you click Get Code, there's one part that you need to put in the body area, and there's one part that you need to put in the actual sidebar or wherever you want this plugin to appear on a page or a post. This code could go there. In our case, we want to put this part in the widgets. Copy that, and we're going to put this part in our insert headers and footers plugin. Okay, so let's go back to WordPress in widgets, and let's paste that in. And we're going to call this one Add Us on Facebook! Exclamation, and save it. All right, and now we're going to check out our site, and we might not see much yet because there's no second part of that code, which is right here. So we're going to copy this part of the code now that I've highlighted, and we're going to come back to WordPress, head back to the dashboard. Now we're going to go to code snippets and go to header and footer. And in the body, we need this Facebook code. So let's paste that. And you didn't have to write any code, but now you know how to manage some code and save it. And now let's go to our site. And we can see our like box renders perfectly. Great job. So that's how to interact with some Facebook code that they've made for us and that bloggers have been using for years to get likes and become viral, get thousands of likes, or in our case, maybe just like 8,000 likes. And now you know how to get those likes too from your blog. We're on a roll adding new widgets to our WordPress blog sidebar, so why don't we set up the Google ad, because that actually takes a little time for the ad to get working and to start displaying and connecting with Google's millions of ads that they want to show based on your content. Now, Google ads are pretty cool. The more they get clicked, the more you get paid. But depending on your niche, you might make more or less. For example, if you have a blog about cats, it's going to make a little bit less per click than a blog about financial advice or retirement or taxes or something like that, or buying cars, where the end user might be willing to spend a little more money than just a cat lover. Might want to spend money on cat treats or something. But that shouldn't dictate what you write about per se, because your most success is going to come from what you're passionate about. I'm just going to close up some of these tabs up top. And then we are going to head over to AdSense. I'll give you a link in the description, just like every service we're going to use today. So go ahead and click on that link to get to the right page. This is my AdSense, so not too impressive by any means. I think I'm making like $1 yesterday. It's really not something I focus on. It's more just for tutorials. And most of my ad revenue actually comes from YouTube ads that are on top of videos like this one. So the blog stuff is more just for fun, but some people like ProBlogger, where I've written, make a killing. So we're going to head over to the ads. You know what? Let me back up. I'm going to hit Command-Shift-New and go to AdSense Sign Up. And you're going to be on, let's see, sign up for AdSense. You're going to get some screens like this. Okay. So it's going to tell you create an AdSense account to succeed. Check that your site is interesting and original content that draws visitors to your ads. Well, as you already did, interesting, original content. So we got you covered on that one. Next up, you're going to sign up for AdSense. You're going to activate, and then you can enter some payment information. So it really is pretty simple, and Google will appreciate that you've taken time to set up your own self-hosted WordPress.org blog. When you make a WordPress blog, Google knows you're serious because it takes some time and commitment to the hosting and domain name, and they understand that you paid a little for the hosting. So Google knows that you're a real website. You're not just a spam bot that's doing it for free and making blogs like by the thousands or something. So we're going to sign up for AdSense, and you're going to get a screen like this. So it's going to ask like your Gmail or my friend's Gmail. You're going to sign in and then follow the prompts, and I think it's like pretty easy. I'm just going to go ahead and see what it looks like for your case, just so, you know, for your ease. A couple of things before you start. You need the website. So I don't have a site yet would obviously hurt you. You don't want to say that. Get more out of AdSense. So yes or no, payment country, and then start using AdSense. Basically, we can tell them that we have a site called I Love Bloggers. Paste that in there. And then start using it, and then go to the United States down here, and then check the box and start using AdSense. Oh, yeah, sure. We'll take the performance suggestions and start using AdSense. That's all we need to do, and then you're going to get the payment information in there so you can collect fat checks, see how ads look, and connect your site to AdSense. So these two steps on the left and right are required, and it should be easy for you. And I'm going to go ahead and click them just so you know what they look like. This will be your payment information. You'll submit that. Right here we will have your connect to AdSense code. All you need to do is copy this code from Google, conveniently with the copy button right there. And you're going to paste that into WordPress headers and footers, which, thank goodness, we've already set up. That's going to be back here. Code snippets and header and footer, and you can paste that right into the header area as such. All right. Then all you need to do is say I've placed the code. Hit next. And request a review. Google AdSense will take a look at your site. If they like what they see, you're in. Alright guys, so I'm going to hop back over to my AdSense here because I already have access, and I have a few sites where we have some cool ads. One thing I actually like doing is using the same ads on different sites just because I've already made them. But for the sake of our tutorial, why don't we add a new unit? Why don't we set up a new ad unit? So let's go to Buy Ad Unit and create a new ad unit.
Let's hit display ads because that's recommended. I'm just going to go with a square, but if you change it from responsive to fixed, you can edit the size of any sort of ad. It's kind of cool. So I'm going to name this one I Love Bloggers Sidebar and click create. Now we're going to go with the HTML. All right, I'm just going to copy the code snippet and come over to our site here. Let's go to the widgets. And we're going to grab another text widget, drag it to the sidebar, head over to text, and we're going to paste that in. Now we're going to call this one Say Thanks by Checking Out Our Ad. Sometimes a little clever catchphrase like that and a call to action can result in a better ad. Now let's go to our site. Scroll down. I don't think we're going to see our ad yet. Perhaps because we have an ad blocker on. Let's click our ad blocker and always allow this site. And now we can see we have this yellow space where the ad will render once Google reads our content and decides what type of ad we get. So that's why I wanted to do that soon in the tutorial, because after we build a few more things, the ad should start showing up. Alright guys, we're back. Another day, another blog post. And we got our kitten here purring, if that's in the background. Sorry about that. I'm going to refresh our site here and see if the Google ad has appeared yet. So not quite yet, we'll give it a little more time. In the meanwhile, I want us to add some more stuff to our pages. We want to get an about page and a contact page and then put those in the nav menu. And I want you to make your about page now so people can actually learn about you and your experience right away. There won't be any doubt that you're positioned as an expert in your field. And then the contact page is just good for people reaching out to write for your blog or maybe to sponsor you. So let's get those going. We're going to hover on the nav menu up top and you can go to new page. Alright, so this is just like a blog post, same sort of look here with the classic editor, visual and text, but the difference between pages and posts is that pages don't appear automatically on the home page. They just sort of exist in the back end and they're live for the world if someone types in the right URL. But you have to actually link them from places like your navigation menu to get people to land on your pages. So here we go. Let's make an about page and let's jazz it up a little bit. Let's call it About Our Story in Blogging or in whatever your niche is. All right, then we can just write a little bit. You could say, so I'm gonna hit the add media and this page is where I'm gonna add the picture of Dear Traveler and I. And then we're gonna go with the medium and align it to the left. So remember that will have the text wrap around the image and insert. And we're in the text tab, so you don't see any fonts, and then the image comes in as that HTML code. And if we click the visual tab, then everything will display as it should. Okay, we can go ahead and write a little something about that photo. That's Dear Traveler and I cruising the country talking about new blog post ideas. And if you want to do like a symbol or an arrow on a Mac, it's just Control Command Spacebar to get the emojis. Control Command Spacebar, and then we can do something like an arrow. I don't know if there's a search. Oh, there is a search. So like arrow or pointing. Kind of cool. So yeah, add a little pizzazz to our post and let's publish it. Or our page, excuse me. All right, now we have one page, you can view it, but like I said before, it usually won't come in anywhere except for our theme is so smart that it populates our page in our nav menu. So it's kind of cool. People can get to our new page now. And because they're populating right there, we can add a contact page super easily. There's the sample page, but we don't need that, although it is kind of cute how it has the quotes. This is just the standard WordPress page. Like everyone sees this page eventually in WordPress because they've used this demo page, this dummy page for years. It's kind of cool. There's like a link to dashboard, so that's clever. And you can go to your dashboard to delete it or create new pages, have fun. These quotes are hilarious if you actually feel like reading through them. Someone important at WordPress made them way back. All right, in our case, let's go to new page again. And now we're gonna do the contact page. And again, I want this page so you can get guest posts and you can get sponsorships. people can learn about your blog. One of my favorite blogs, Daily Blog Tips, showcases how many views and different stats about their blogs on their contact page to help advertisers feel convinced when they contact you with a gig. So, all right, please reach out with any feedback on this blog. I am currently accepting blog sponsorships, guest writers, or if you'd like me to make a blog using WordPress for you, that's cool too. And that is true because we do make blogs for you guys now out on YouTube. If you can't finish the videos, or if you get stuck, or if you just don't have time, go to dearblogger.com. Let us know if you'd like us to add a feature to your blogs or make the whole blog for you. And we can get back to you in 24 hours. Pretty cool. But in your case, maybe you want to make a blog for your friends or family to make a little money because now you know how to make this blog we're making. All definitely things you can do now. All right, our contact page needs something here. What does it need? It needs a way for people to contact you. Well, if you write out your email right there, you could do like reach me at greg@dearblogger.com, which is my real email. Then you can highlight it and do a link. And WordPress will know to set up the mail to you. So then when your users click on that link from their computer, it'll automatically open their Gmail or their Outlook or whatever their default email client is with your email written in there. So that's pretty cool. Along those lines, we need a contact form. So let's go ahead and just publish this one. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and put in the contact form. We're gonna go to our plugins in a new window. And we're going to open up Contact Form 7 that we installed a little bit ago. So we're going to head over to our plugins and right click, open that link in a new tab. And we're going to go to Contact Form 7 that we installed a little bit ago and grab the short code from the demo contact form that they're kind enough to make for us. Copy that and come back and pop that into your blog page here in text because we're going to post in a little code. So go ahead and make sure you're in the text tab so WordPress can read the code. And now in visual, it'll just look like that. That's fine. And when we update it, it'll show a form, hopefully. So you can also use my contact form below. Nice. And just to make this page look special, let's add an image from Pixabay. So Pixabay has some cool images. If you look up like person typing, you're gonna get some cool examples of someone reaching out, and it's just kind of nice to show someone on the computer reaching out as you're asking someone to reach out to you. All right, we're gonna go with this rustic startup photo we've used before. Free download, grab the 1920. All right, and download. Okay, and then under the contact page, we can set the featured image, upload, select. And we're gonna make that our featured image. And we'll see how the featured image displays on your new contact page. Just set it and update the page. And now let's view the page. All right, and it looks like the page doesn't have the image as a featured image. So I'll probably just go on a list of pages, whatever that contact page is listed, it'll show that featured image. Okay, so to get the image inside your contact page, you actually have to add the media at the top of your contact page. Just grab it and then go with the full size, insert in the page. That's huge. That's a big image. It's gonna take a while to load. Why don't we make that the large instead and center it, and update, and update. And now our contact page should have a cool image at the top of it. Very nice, and your form is working too. To make your navigation menu come to life, you can see we already have a little bit of navigation going, but we actually need to create a menu so that these page tabs know how to order themselves. To set up the nav menu, let's hover on the skinny nav at the top and click menus for the first time. The menus page looks weird at first. I used to wonder why things are on the left and why there's this like structure creating area on the right. It doesn't make sense until you know how to do it. So I might as well just tell you how to do it. The first thing you got to do is set up a menu name. So I'm going to go with main navigation and then click create menu, which again makes no sense at first. And then we have this menu here that WordPress is guessing we might like, which is pretty darn close. We just want to open the sample page and remove it. We can also open the about page and change that to just like about, or change it to just our story. And close that. And we can make context something a little more clever too, like get in touch. And close that one. And great, now we can save the menu. And it's not going to show up perfectly until you set the display location, which is primary menu. Save menu. Awesome. That should be done. Now when we visit our homepage, we'll see the menu just as we like it. And if you go back to the menu right here and indent one of the menu tabs underneath one, that will set up a drop-down. Save menu and go back. And now you learned how to make a drop-down menu. But that wouldn't make sense for our page structure, so we'll just keep all the menu tabs visible. Let's start working on our header. Our header area needs a logo that will replace this text logo, which is conveniently a link to our homepage by default, and we can replace our site tagline. And then we need some social icons to go next to our search bar. Pretty simple, but requires the usual amount of care and touch, so let's do it the right way. For our logo, we're going to head over to logomaker.com. That's logomaker as you'd spell it, just without the E. And then we need some ideas for our logo. So let's look back at our blog and we'll say, hey, we got some places to sit in our blog theme here, like the hammock and the bench, and generally just a relaxing city vibe too. So we can pick from there some themes that'll go in our logo. Let's go back to the logo maker, and to get set up with your designing canvas here, just go ahead and click on New Design. All right, and here you are in the traditional logo maker canvas we've been doing for years. So let's create a new design and let's find some logos and graphics like it says. So first thing I'm gonna look up is gonna be a bench. Hit enter. We can see there's some cool benches to choose from, and more will load in just a second. Generally the most relevant logos will be towards the top, and then down below you'll get more abstract logos. So I want a bench that looks kind of basic and inviting also, and for that purpose, let's go with this bench right here. All right, there's a cool cartoon bench. Now we're gonna need something like a cityscape. So how about city? All right, now we have a cool city, and I like how some are kind of curvy, futuristic, cartoony. So let's get one of these. All right, there's our curvy, cartoony city. Could be in the background, could be in the foreground, wherever. And come to think of it, I like these cities a little more with the trees in them. That's even cooler. So let's grab one of these cities. All right, and drag it over. And it gets tough to decide because there's so many cool features in Logo Maker, so many cool icons. Okay, now lastly we just need you guessed it, a puppy. All right, and we're gonna get the puppy. Joey, shut it. So for our puppy, we want something cute and friendly, and probably the whole puppy dog, not just the face, because the face would be like if we were just going to use this face as our logo. That might be kind of cool, kind of badass. But I want the whole puppy, and because we want the whole puppy and we want a cute little puppy, I'm going to go with this guy right here. Okay, the puppy's in, the city skyscape's in, and the bench is in. Now let's size everything, and after that we can write out some text. Here's a puppy. Here's the city background. And we can also flip the puppy by dragging the arrow and pulling the puppy this way. Now we're going to change the depth perception by adjusting the position of each item. Okay, bear with me for a second. We're going to position the city skyscape in the upper left corner, much smaller than the bench. And we're going to position the puppy in the foreground, larger. Puppy is a little bit wide. Okay, great. Let's bring our bench in a little bit more just so we can have things tight on the image. And if you have a tiny bit more space, you could maybe grab something like a tree or sunlight. How about sun? All right, and we can put our sun in the upper right corner where the sun typically goes. And perfect, guys. So we've designed a circular shaped logo involving 5 images, and you did it as a total beginner. Pretty cool. All right, perfect, guys. Using the grid, we can line up the items perfectly, and now we have a circle-shaped logo. Circles are good because people like clicking on circular items more than they like clicking on obtuse items, and we've used 5 images. Did it as a total beginner, and I think it's pretty cohesive. I think this image gives off a lot of inspiring, I want to start a blog sort of vibes. All right, now we just need some colors because all black, while it might be kind of cool to go black and white, we want to jazz things up a little bit. So let's get a brown for the bench, and we can see I'm just sort of winging it on the color wheel up here. And for the sun, let's get an orange. We can just position our plus sign near the right color, and then we can get to the perfect color. Building should be a dark blue or maybe a gray. Right, maybe a gray for that one. And then the puppy should be not black, but maybe a brownish or blondish puppy. Okay, that just doesn't leave much green in there, so let's make one of our buildings green. That is a futuristic building, and cool. A little darker on the bench, and we're good. Next, we just need some text here, and we can click on the T to set up the text. Of course, our site is titled I Love Bloggers, so I'm going to go with I Love Bloggers, capitalizing the first letter of each word, .com. All right, and you don't need the .com in there. It's sort of implied nowadays. It's not like we're in the .com boom anymore. We're going to bring that up top. Next, to change the font, we can go to the designer picks, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different categories of fonts. I like usually simple and modern, and that'll give us a whole different drop down over here. So pretty cool. You can choose the right font easily. There are so many options, so really play around to your heart's content. Once you find a good one, just go ahead and make your logo text the right size. And then you can always duplicate it by hitting Control Copy, Control Paste, and that'll help you set up a tagline. So this is going to be our tagline below the image. It's going to be a smaller tagline. And it's just going to explain our site's purpose in ideally 3 words or less. So how to make a blog would be 5 words. Let's create a blog or let's make a blog would be 4 words. But how about just create a blog? That would be 3 words. And we can exclamation mark it too. Create a blog. Awesome. Or even, how about actively creating your blog? Because that's what we're doing together. If you made it this far in the tutorial, you are creating your blog and you're doing it, pretty dedicated because I have kept you here a while. Putting in a lot of your time, but I guarantee you're gonna reap the benefits because we know blogging here and it's my job to show you blogging. All right, how are we doing with that color? The blue's not bad. It's easy on the eyes, it's not bad. We're just gonna bring it up a little bit so that the text fills up the same height as the images. And our tagline can now nestle in right there beneath the G. And we did it. We made a blog. And we did it, guys. We learned how to make a blog logo. It doesn't have a ton of significance maybe outside this video and outside our blog today. But then again, maybe the founders of Google didn't think that the Google logo had a lot of significance until it became Google. So it all starts when you create a blog logo and do it in a way you think works and then put it up. So let's put this up. Let's hit the crop in the lower right. Can't forget that step. And then you can just adjust the crosshairs a little more. And now I'm gonna hit enter. And we have a logo. Great job. Let's hit save. And we're gonna go with the low-res PNG file. So click on this button here. And the legal requirements you should read are to give credit to the website right here where we made our logo. accept and acknowledge, and download the free low-res file. Okay, and I'm going to call this one I Love Bloggers Logo Volume 1. And we've downloaded it to our computer. We can now see it in downloads. And that's what it looks like. All right, guys, let's set up our logo on our blog. We're going to go back to the blog here. Now to install your logo, go to Customize, and then pop on over to Site Identity. And there's a footer logo, but we want the main logo right here in this little white rectangle. Click there, upload files again, select files again, and double click your logo. Pretty exciting stuff, and select it. And it's going to ask you if you want to crop it, but we're going to skip the cropping. And there you have it. Pretty cool. We just want to check this box to disable the site title and disable the site description because those will make our logo smaller. You can also click the pencil to get back to this editing window. And you can keep this box unchecked. For the footer logo, we're going to change that image too and make that the logo we just created and choose image. And now we should have a footer logo. Awesome. Okay guys, so once we publish and go to our site right here, you're going to be able to check out your new logo. Great job. Okay guys, to make the logo a little more bigger, we're going to head back to our custom CSS window, also called additional CSS, and let's just pop that logo up to 40 or 50 so people can actually read the whole logo and the tagline. And it looks like regardless, our logo is going to push the header down a little bit, even though we reduced some of the space around the logo image itself. It's just going to push the site down because that's how our theme's built. And there's a special section on the upper right for something we're going to add in a minute. So let's publish, and now that you know that custom CSS, you're on your way to tweaking little parts of your site. All right, let's X out and see what we made. Beautiful. Now to add your social media icons, we can just put them in the upper right corner manually. We're just gonna take our fingers and press the screen and they appear. No, just kidding, but it's almost that easy. We actually just have to go back to our dashboard and then come to Appearance, Customize, and we could have just clicked Customize, of course. Then we're gonna go to the social links and start dropping in some links. So we have, the first one is just gonna be our Facebook page or group. So in our case, I'm gonna do the groups. So it's the link / groups or group, I think. Dear Blogger, might be groups. Let's find out. This is where we talk about WordPress all day, every day on Facebook and give lots of free help, including some giveaways of WordPress themes and traits like that, even some Amazon cash giveaways. And it's groups. Okay, so that's what we need to write. And we can see once we add in one social media icon, it will appear automatically. So there it is. Now we'll do our Twitter link, and because I've copy pasted these links so many times into emails and into social media, I'll just memorize them, so maybe you have too. Our Twitter link is twitter.com/Narayan. You can go there for blog tips and stock market tips, buys and sells, timing, all that. Google Plus, I'm pretty sure doesn't exist anymore. Pinterest we don't have, but YouTube is https://www.youtube.com/Narayan, old childhood nickname from my buddy Joe Jones. And yeah, that's great. You can obviously add all of these social icons if you want, and they'll all appear on the right. And the cool thing is they inherit the branded color of that social media company. Lastly, we might want to do an Instagram. So we'll head down here and do the Instagram and publish. Great. Now we'll X out and see what we made. And our social media icons are installed. Instagram looks especially good. Great. So to make your logo up here and your social media icons over here, along with your search bar, float on the same level line right here, there's two options. You could set up a logo like we did in the Simple Catch demo right here. Well, we didn't make this, Simple Catch did, where the logo is just a circle, kind of like Apple's logo, or Netflix is just an N, or Uber is just like a small little circle. You could do it like that, and that way you'll have the logo
next to the simple catch, which is just the text from the theme and the tagline from the theme. But in our case, we made a wider logo, which includes all of this. So we want it to float next to our social icons. How do we do that? Well, we can go back to our customize window right here, and we're going to keep the site open in a different tab where things are not lined up. And we're going to right click on the space beneath the logo. That's the space we want to change. And we have to kind of maneuver our mouse down until we find like what's actually going on. So we can open up the header content here on the lower left. We can see that there's the branding. And that branding is really wide. That blue space with the tangerine colored line beneath it in the top of our screen here shows the space that site branding takes up. You can see I've highlighted site branding, and when I go on top of the div, it shows the entire space for site branding. So on the right, the width of that is 100%. Doesn't need to be that wide. The masthead site branding does not need to be that wide because it's pushing, as you can see if you look towards that Facebook icon, it's pushing the Facebook icon and a little of the Twitter icon down, and that makes all the icons go down. So let's copy this CSS, the hashtag masthead.site-branding, and let's come back to our custom CSS window and paste that in. And now let's just take away some of that max width. So it had 100. Why don't we try giving it like 50%? And beautiful. Now they can share the space, just like siblings would share a bedroom down the middle. Or maybe one side wants more like 60%, that's okay too. 70%, that's okay too. 80%, that's too much. And the logo and the social icons won't be happy with 80%. So let's go with something like 65%, fair balance. Write the semicolon. Now our logo can be big and our social icons can be next to the logo. And we did it. Great job. We'll see that the Google ad is still not working yet. And I'll actually show you how to insert a normal ad, which is just a PNG or JPG image right now, like one of these you see on dearblogger.org. And so in AdSense, it might be the case that AdSense hasn't understood our domain yet. So if we go to ads, or sites rather, we can see that the sites Bluehost Setup, Greg Narayan, and honestcollege.blogspot require review, whereas dearblogger.org is ready. That means the only site we can show ads on in terms of our little environment over here is dearblogger.org. To get your site AdSense ready, we're going to need to see what the attention is. Let's show some details, for example. So it looks like there's the header code, which is needed, and that's the problem on our site probably, if that's the problem on bluehostsetup.com. So let's go back to sites and make sure to add site because our site wasn't even added in yet. We're going to copy our domain name, and now let's paste that in here. And save and continue. All right, now it gives us our custom ad code. That was super quick. Let's just copy it. And then let's go back to our dashboard, and in code snippets, header and footer, we have this convenient area for the header code. So all we need to do before was just paste in this AdSense header code. AdSense just needs to see that code to make sure we have a real website and that we have the ability to insert their code. It's sort of like giving AdSense a handshake and letting them know that we're real on the other end. All right, now we can go back to our AdSense area and request review. It will say something like getting ready. Please bear with us. It takes a few days, in some case 2 weeks. I don't think it'll take that long because AdSense is amazing. We'll notify you. Please make sure you don't remove your site. In the meantime, place the code on every page you want ads to display. After our checks are complete, you'll be ready to show ads. Remember to go to ads and choose the ad formats you want to show. Okay, so we could set up ads, but we already did. And also here's a preview of our site on mobile. Pretty cool. So this works. At least AdSense has crawled our blog and they know we're a real blog and a real mobile friendly blog, looking pretty darn sweet. So things are working, things are responding. It should just be a matter of time before this existing AdSense ad shows a real ad that can generate you some real profits because you deserve that. After you create a blog, you deserve to earn a good, healthy living blogging. Okay, great work guys and gals. Let's go back to our site and Now that we're on the topic of verifying our website with Google Adsense and other Google third-party tools, why don't we verify our site with Google Analytics? And in the process, add your website to Google. So to do that, we're going to need to visit Google Analytics, and we're going to need to add some code in our code snippets area right here, which thankfully is working great. AdSense knows that we were able to make a blog. Facebook knows that we were able to build a blog. So why don't we get Google Analytics on board too? So we can leave our code snippets window open here. We're going to need this in a moment. And let's navigate to Google Webmaster Central. All right. It's now called Google Search Central, formerly Webmasters. They're always changing their names, as you know. We're going to dismiss the developer thing, and we're just going to go to Get Started. That will get our website on Google Search. So the resources here are really useful if you have a moment to read them on learning how to get your pages indexed, to check that they're indexed, and to remind Google that you have new pages and new posts every week, hopefully. It's a good place to check back every month or so. You can learn how Google search works. And all these guides are things that, like, the more you spend time on them, the more you give to Google's resources, the more they give you. And ranking in Google is everything when it comes to how to make money blogging. They got a creating helpful, reliable content thing, SEO starter guide. Do you need an SEO? I'd say no, you should be your own SEO, or just ask in our videos because someone in our community has done it if you're trying to do it. That's a good overview though. Let's go to Search Console. Okay guys, so here is our Google Analytics. And what you want to do from the Search Console window once you get here is come up to your dropdown and you're going to click Add a Property. Next, we'll just need your domain name. So on our site here, we'll just copy our domain name, drop that in, and it's pretty specific. It wants us to remove the /2. There we go, and continue. So it's going to try to verify us, but if it doesn't have us verified, which is where you'll be at, we need to do a little quick verification here. So what we're going to do is use the txt recommended method. That's step 1. We're going to sign into our domain name provider. In our case, we're going to do this at HostGator though, because you can do this where you got your hosting. Some people don't know that. And we're going to copy the txt record into the DNS configuration. We're going to sign into our domain name provider. And remember, we bought a free domain name from HostGator, so we didn't pay anything for it. And that means HostGator also manages our DNS records and our DNS configurations, just like a GoDaddy would. So then step 3 is going to be to copy this record in, and I'll show you how to do that right now. Let's copy it, and then let's head back to your portal here. All right, and then we're going to launch the cPanel. Might need to log in again, that's okay. Then we're just going to go down to the DNS zones. So you can do a command find or control find for zone editor. The R she blows, and click on zone editor. You can see quickly that was in the domain section. So here's I love bloggers, and that's what we want. We're just going to do manage, and then we're going to add a record, and you're going to make that the valid zone name of what Google says here. The zone name is going to be I love bloggers, or whatever your domain name is. Okay, we're going to leave TTL the same and change type to TXT record. And then that record is just going to be what Google created for us here in their site verification tool. Copy that record. You don't really need to memorize it or know what it means. Just copy it and paste that in right here in record. And save it, and it should confirm with the green check mark. All right, we did it, success. And now you successfully saved the following record. So Google, just like Google AdSense, will now be working hand in hand with your blog. Pretty cool. Last step is just to press verify because we've done 1, 2, and 3 successfully. Verify now. This may take a minute. Ownership verified. So it's a Monday. Things are working quick. We gotta love it. To stay verified, don't remove the DNS record. To avoid losing verification, you may want to add multiple verification methods. Don't have to either of those. Just don't change anything. Now we'll go to property, and you can officially start tracking views, clicks, and different sorts of Google blog revenue statistics on your Google Search Console. My favorite is Pages, because in Pages you can see your top viewed blog posts and pages, see how many views they're getting, and stuff like the bounce rate. So if people leave your page, bad, don't want that. Want them to stay and go to a different page from one of your referring pages. Okay, But this is just meant to be a brief overview and get you set up. So that's all we're going to say now for Google Search Console. And let's head back to our blogs. Over the years, Google has changed the different places where you add your site to Google and ask to be indexed. So I want to cover all of our bases in case some of the ways I used to do it still work. When we used to look up add my site to Google, there actually used to be a little input box right here in Google search results, like a little box right here where you'd paste your domain name and click enter. So that was fun to do. Now they probably removed it, but if we go to ask Google to recrawl your URLs, you never know, things might still be there. Let's try the URL inspection tool and open it. And it looks like they've imported everything back to Google Search Console. So this is where that bar is now gone. Once your site's verified, you can enter your posts and pages in here to make sure they've been crawled.